All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final segment of today's show, we're going to talk about the stat leaders. Just go through, like who's currently leading each category. So that'll be the final part of the show, obviously. So let's get right into it. So the player leaders for some of these for the categories. So right now you currently have Tua Tagovailoa leading the way in passing yards. He has over 1,600 yards passing. You got Kirk Cousins right behind him. He's right below. He's at 1,498 passing yards, so he's about to hit 1,500. Then you got C.J. Stroud, Matthew Stafford, and Josh Allen. So that's the top five. Honestly, if Tua plays the full season, he's probably going to end up being the leader in passing yards because, their passing game is it's legit. It's elite. It really is. And I'm happy for Tua and I hope he stays healthy because you know what? He faced a lot of criticism. Obviously, and I would probably put myself in that category as well. Because he doesn't have the greatest arm. But you know what? He's accurate. And when you got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, you could literally just do whatever. You throw slants and they could just take it to the house. But Tua's accurate. And they have so many playmakers on that offense. The running game, helps too. Obviously, they're dealing with injuries there now. But, this Dolphins offense is just amazing. And, I think right now, Tua's right now in the lead in passing yards. He plays the full season. He's probably going to end up being the leader when it's all said and done at the end of the year. Kirk Cousins, it's going to be interesting. This might be something that we discuss, whether it's this week or within the coming days, but, about Kirk Cousins' future with the Vikings because, they might look to trade him. There's some places that he could go to. The Falcons I thought of as one, although Desmond Ridder did play well on Sunday. And then, of course, you have the Jets, who could possibly be a suitor for him as well. And I don't know if Jet fans... some Jet fans I think would want that. Others maybe not so much. But we'll see. It all depends on how Zach Wilson plays. And obviously, there's talk that Aaron Rodgers, he's trying to make his way back this season. Listen, right now for me, I don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs, but do they have a chance? Yeah. They just got to run the football and play good defense. That's what I said earlier in the show. So, and then the other passing leaders here, you got C.J. Stroud, Matthew Stafford, and Josh Allen. C.J. Stroud's been great so far this year. He looks like the best rookie quarterback right now. Obviously it was kind of between him and Anthony Richardson, but now Anthony Richardson's going to miss some time. So and CJ, they both looked better than Bryce Young. But CJ Stroud, yeah, he's looked good. Matthew Stafford, now a Cooper Kupp back. The passing yards are going to continue to climb for him and Josh Allen, of course. The Bills. I used to call them the Buffalo one-dimensionals because that's all they did was throw, and that's what they're going to continue to do. James Cook has been good this year, but, what's the Bills' strength? It's throwing the football, of course, and, that's why Josh Allen is a top leader in passing yards. So now we go to passer rating. So you got Brock Purdy at 123.1, then you got Tua, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Josh Allen. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So on ESPN, it was said that Russell Wilson's been playing the worst football that, Mike Greenberg said it, that he's ever seen. And is that necessarily true? No, it's not. Because Russell Wilson, he is not. Now, can he play better? Yeah. He wasn't good against the Jets on Sunday. But Russell Wilson is not the problem in Denver. He has been playing good. He's been playing good for my fantasy team as well. So I don't really have any complaints with Russ. But yeah, he's top 5 in passer rating. So that shows you he's not the main problem in Denver. Brock Purdy, I mean, he's just been unbelievable. Really has. I mean, when we start talking about like the MVP conversation, he's going to be one of the people at the top when it's talking about that, because I mean you could even put Christian McCaffrey in that conversation too, because Christian McCaffrey just keeps scoring touchdowns every single game. I mean, obviously he didn't have a monster game on Sunday, but still scored. But Brock Purdy has been playing really well to start the year, and he's the way he's operating on offense with this team, I mean, he's doing it better than the quarterbacks that the 49ers have had the last couple of years. Garoppolo, Trey Lance. Yeah, I mean, he is in a great situation right now. And the 49ers right now, they look like the best team in the NFL. And listen, I honestly hope they're the team that hoists the trophy up at the end of the year. I do. I think all those players deserve it, but we'll just have to see. Tua, of course, I said, he's at 2. Herbert is at 3. I mean, Herbert's been really good so far this year as well. Obviously, they've their defense has kind of let them down in some spots, but you know what? He's been doing well. I mean, Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator, that was a good move, but they got to tidy some things up on defense. So we go to the rushing leaders now, and I just talked about him briefly. Christian McCaffrey leads the way at 5'10". Then you got Devon Achane, but that's going to change now that he's going to miss some time. And, I mean, a lot of these guys, like, you wouldn't expect it. Zach Moss is actually 3rd in the NFL in rushing, because he ran for over 130 yards, I think, against the Titans on Sunday. Because, I mean, they're still trying to work Jonathan Taylor back. Jonathan Taylor didn't really do much on Sunday, but you got Zach Moss at 3. And then you got DeAndre Swift, who's been playing really well now that he kind of has taken over as like the lead back in Philly, because they don't even use Rashad Penny at all. I thought he was going to have somewhat of a role on this team. He has not. DeAndre Swift is kind of taking it over, because Kenneth Gainwell missed a game, and Swift had that big game against the Vikings. So Swift is the lead back. Then, of course, you have Gainwell. So that's a nice 1-2 punch there. So right now he's at 4, and then you got Travis Etienne at 5. He had a huge game on Sunday against the Bills. But, yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I mean, if he stays healthy, probably going to end up being the lead rusher. Especially in that offense. I mean, he is like the main component of that offense. And that was such a great move by the Niners getting him. Because, listen, I think, I mean, he just takes them up another notch. I mean, multiple notches, really. Because, I mean, 2 years ago, they went into the playoffs with Elijah Mitchell as their number 1 back. And is Elijah Mitchell, Elijah Mitchell is good, but when he's healthy, but he never plays. Getting McCaffrey, I thought, was huge for this team. And, yeah, I mean, if McCaffrey stays healthy, because, he's had his injury problems the last couple of seasons. Although last year he actually was healthy. This year he's been off to a great start, and he, no injuries as of right now, knock on wood. But, yeah, I think he might end up, if he stays healthy, he's going to end up being the leading rusher by, the end of the year. So we go to receiving yards, and you got another Miami Dolphin. You got Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's possible he gets to 2,000 yards this year. He's at 651. Then you got Puka Nacua at 572. That's going to come down a little bit. He's going to kind of come back down to the pack because now Cooper Kupp is back. So, but, it's not a bad thing, though. I mean, he scored a touchdown on Sunday, his second of his NFL career. So that Rams receiving core is good. Puka's still going to get targets, of course. But I think he's definitely going to go down. Guys are going to start passing him because, now you got Cooper Kupp back, and Stafford's going to be throwing to him a lot too. Justin Jefferson, unfortunately, he's going to be right now he's in the top 3, but yeah, he's going to be missing some time now with his hamstring injury, so he's not going to be in the top 3. But he was well on his way to having another great season. A.J. Brown and then D.J. Moore. I mean, D.J. Moore, he got half of his yards on Thursday. So he's in the top 5. A.J. Brown, ever since that little argument on the sidelines, I mean, he's getting the ball every single time now. So, yeah, he's been doing well these last couple weeks. So the top 5, when it comes to receiving yards, I mean, that you kind of expect with some of these guys in it. It's just kind of funny, who's the top 5 in rushing this year. But yeah, and then of course sacks leader. I mean, no surprise there is T.J. Watt. Then you got Josh Allen, the linebacker, Trey Hendrickson, Daniil Hunter, and Khalil Mack. And so Khalil Mack, I think, got all of his, because didn't he get 6 sacks in the game against the Raiders? So he got all of his sacks from that one game. So yeah, but no surprise there with T.J. Watt at 8. I mean, the guy's just an absolute stud. He's a monster. And, that's what's going to keep the Steelers in the playoff conversation is their defense. And listen, when he doesn't play, the Steelers, have, obviously it makes sense. But it's just kind of funny how different their record. I don't know what the exact record is. I'll have to look it up. But, the record with T.J. Watt being out, and then when he came back, I mean, the Steelers went on, a second-half run. And they could have squeaked in as a 9-8 team. But it's crazy how he's he's the quarterback on defense, but when he's out, the Steelers are a completely different team. Jesse Bates, he leads. He's tied with Bland and Jacobs and Whitehead on the Jets. Jacobs on the Lions and Bland on the Cowboys. They're all tied with 3 interceptions. And Zaire Franklin, he leads the way with tackles for the Colts. They also have a team leaders category. So the Dolphins, they're just looking at passing yards. That's just the quarterbacks, of course. Rushing, so the Dolphins lead the way. They're averaging 185.8 rushing yards per game. That's crazy. That's going to go down a little bit now with Achane being out. The Eagles have 164. 49ers have 156. Ravens 146. The Browns are 143. So even with the the injuries to Nick Chubb, the Browns can still run the football. The top 5 scoring teams, you got the Dolphins, the 49ers, the Bills, the Lions, and the Eagles. Dolphins are at 36.2, 49ers 33.4, Bills 31.8, Lions 29.6, and the Eagles 28.2. And Dolphins lead the way on offense, yards per game, 513.6. Then you got the Eagles with 404.4, 49ers 402.6, Bills 390.4, and the Chargers 388.8. Listen, Kellen Moore's doing wonders with that Chargers offense. So there's no surprise there. And then the sack leaders in total, the Bills lead the way with 21. Ravens 18, Dolphins 17, Steelers 17, Chargers 16. Bills are tied with the Niners for the most interceptions. But yeah, that's pretty much it when you look at the stats. But yeah, let's go back for a second. So the Bills lead the NFL in sacks at 21. And what did I just talk about in the last segment? About the upcoming game with the Giants. So all the more reason for Daniel Jones to not play on Sunday. Just don't let him play. And they also are tied for the most interceptions by a defense in the NFL too. So it's going to be a long night for the G-men. And with that, that is all the time that we have for today. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, talking some more football. Obviously, we got a game tomorrow night, so we'll preview that. I'll figure out what we talk about in the other segments. Let me know what you guys think, if there's anything else you want me to touch upon. I'm always down to hear some ideas and suggestions for show topics, but we'll figure it out. But we're definitely, obviously, previewing the game tomorrow. So until tomorrow, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.